Thanks for coming round. We'll make you laugh before you go. Welcome to the Mermen. Welcome to the show.
Ready to start?
Yeah.
Are you going to get in the spirit with me today?
I did it last time. I'm not doing it this time.
We're supposed to start every single episode by doing this together.
According to what contract?
According to this thing that we're building, bro. Like, there's things that are... I thought we said it'd be cool. Like, it's like when I was a kid and that dude would blow the horn, everyone getting their dinghy and come into the tiki bar.
We did not say this would be cool ever. From the very first moment you brought this up, I never said this would be cool. I said this sounds
I'm going to do
ridiculous.
this for every episode. I don't care where I'm
I think it's
celebrating episode 1,000. Dave's still blowing the concho, waiting for Forrest to join him.
I enjoy watching you do it, but do I think it's cool? No. But I'll try it again. I'm not good at it.
But practice makes perfect for us. You're never good at anything until you try it a few times. Can't just go around in life doing things that you're already good at.
Yeah, but I don't want to be good at this.
But I think you could. You gotta put your lips together more. Really get into it. Feel it in your belly. Hey! Yes! Holy crap.
What?
That was great.
It's better than yours.
I did. Oh, now we're competing.
I never even tried.
That was good. That was like,
I won.
that was like, well, it was probably because of my motivational Coach Dave speech.
Yeah.
But that was like, you couldn't do it, and then you did it better than you ever done before. It was like a breakthrough.
All right,
and now you know, moving
Someone's calling
forward,
me.
that you have the power to do that well the first time.
Whoa, there's a bug just came out of it.
What happened?
I don't know. A bug just came out
Out of
the
this
conch.
thing?
Out of the conch.
Luis, what are you doing with my conchs while I'm not here?
It was like a fly roach. It was like a fly roach hybrid.
You want to know what happened to my wife this morning?
You don't want to even address that there's a bug.
This is gonna make you feel better about that.
Wait, hold on a second. My aunt just called me out. Everything's fine. She never calls me.
Oh, your aunt. I was like, the ant, because you were talking about bugs, and then you said ant.
I was going to turn off my phone, and then I was going to make a joke and just say, hey, Hollywood's calling because I just blew the conch so good. And then, I don't know what it was, because it was like a fly roach hybrid that I believe came out of this conch after I blew it, because my conch has not been blown like that ever. And then
My
I was
wife-
like, holy shit, I got to get out of here.
My wife washed her water bottle last night, and I guess she left it out on the counter to dry, and so there was a little bit of moisture in it.
Yeah.
And then this morning, she went and filled it up with water, and while she was on her meeting, she went to go take a sip, and a pincher bug went into her mouth and bit her tongue
Oh, God.
while she was on a Zoom meeting.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a pincher bug is, but it sounds bad.
It's a bug that pinches.
Yeah, I got it. Hey, I
Your
got a
tongue.
question, because we do first, second, third, fourth quarter. I know it's very loose, but are we in the first quarter now?
Yeah.
I usually do it
Is
in
this-
post 'cause
is this-
I don't know.
Is this
what-
warm-ups? Are we stretching right now?
At this
is this
point-
a shoot-around? We're doing a layup drill? What do we got?
Forrest, I'm not a big stretching guy. I kind of just get into it.
First quarter.
I stretch. You don't stretch?
Well, with athletic endeavors, I definitely.
I have
you have to.
I have this plastic thing near in my kitchen that's like curved, and I put my foot on it and I stretch every morning.
I stretch out of
$12 Amazon.
Yeah, I stretch out of necessity when it comes to athletics. For sure, you have to at this point in life. But I'm
don't
just
use
saying.
Amazon.
I'm just saying the way I approach life in general is not like I'm not a big hey, let's get loose kind of guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go for it.
Don't use Amazon, actually. Fuck Amazon. I hate Amazon.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bezos went to my high school.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
I would kick Jeff Bezos in the balls.
What?
Yeah. I'd try and start a fight with him. That way, he punched me. I'd be rich, bro.
I met Tim Cook.
I'd be rich, bro. Jeff Bezos went to your high school not when you were there, right?
No.
And also, what's her name? The last Supreme Court Justice.
Yep, her. And
What's her name?
Yeah, that lady. Yep, you're
Arguably way more important than Jeff Bezos. What is her
she
name?
went there-
What is her name?
I don't remember.
Oh, Jesus. That's not good. Can you look it up, Luis? The last Supreme, her name is...
Also, the Surgeon General went to my high school too.
Don't know the Surgeon General's name either. We know Jeff Bezos' name.
What was her title?
The last Supreme Court justice that just
She has
got
like a hyphenated
nominated,
name.
and she got she's in the Supreme Court. She was not nominated and approved, not approved, or by Joe Biden, Jeff Biden. I don't know anybody's name.
All right, here we go.
Jackson, right? What's her name?
Where are we talking about? Ruth Bader?
No, she's dead.
Yeah, I went to high school with
She's
Ruth
on
Bader.
the Supreme Court. We're not a political podcast, everybody. I just want to make that clear right now. I just about said Jeff Biden.
I'm looking up my high school on Wikipedia.
What's her name?
Amy Coney.
No, that was Trump's nominee, and she's in there, and she doesn't know shit.
Hold up.
Put the Supreme Court justices on there.
Ketanji Brown
There
Jackson.
you go.
There it is.
Yeah, Jackson. I said Jackson, didn't I? Boom, I had it. Brown Jackson. Brown Jackson hyphenated, right? Nope.
All right. I'm going down to notable alumni from Miami Palmetto
all
High
this out.
School. Jeff Bezos, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and I'm pretty sure she went there when I was there.
Yeah, you didn't know her.
Vinny Cholk, Major League Baseball pitcher, went there when I was there. He was my buddy.
But you weren't friends with Ketanji. Is it
No.
Ketanji or Ketanji? I don't even know.
Ketanji, I think. I don't know.
We should know how to do that.
The Surgeon General as well. Who's
that?
him on there? Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is the Surgeon General?
No, he's Tim Hardaway's son who also plays it.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm looking at mine right now.
Olympic speed skater Jennifer Rodriguez.
You're already off. Like, it's like, come on.
Ron McGill of Metro Zoo.
Yeah, he's good, but only if they're from South Florida.
Yeah.
Ron McGill, he's like a famous zoo guy, but you'd have to.
Jonathan James, teen hacker who penetrated NASA and DoD computer systems at age 15. It's one way to get on your Wikipedia page for your high school.
Mine's not very good. Coral Gables. We don't have a lot of.
I can't find the Surgeon General. But the most recent person added to the list. Can you read the bottom? Can you read the bottom one?
Dave Williamson, stand-up comedian. This is on Wikipedia, though.
Notable alumni.
You just added that in there.
No, I did not. But if I'm being honest, I did add it like 30 times over the past decade, and it always got taken down.
And it gets taken off, right?
And then somehow I ended up on El Segundo's notable residence Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And so I used that as leverage to get onto onto my high school's notable alumni.
Ours isn't very good. We have Maxine Clark. This is Coral Gables High School.
Yeah.
Maxine Clark, founder of Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Ooh, that's actually really impressive.
Yeah, okay. Zach Banks, American race car driver.
Hey, Zaki. Oh, Vivek Murthy. That's the Surgeon General.
Keith Davids, Rear Admiral in the United States Navy. I never knew what a Rear Admiral was. I know there's a lot of jokes, but... Gail Edwards, actress on It's a Living Blossom and Full House. Oh, wait, who is she on...
What was her name?
Gail Edwards. She's in Full House. She's got to be one of the girls, right? One of the older girls.
I forgot Rohan Marley, too. I already told that story on this podcast, right?
I don't know. We have that's something we have to do. That I don't recognize anybody's name. Oh, Janet Reno went to Coral Gables.
Hey, get out of here.
Yeah, there you go.
Some of the most random people come from South Florida, dude.
Yeah, George Winston. He's a famous pianist. I think he did the Peanuts. The Peanuts, like
He's a pianist that did the Peanuts.
I think he did. Look it up. What are you doing, Luis? Look shit up.
I feel like that's
George
really...
Winston. Did he do the Peanuts theme song?
I don't think so.
I'm looking at famous alumni from my school now.
We don't give
who
a
do
shit
you
about
got?
yours. This is our podcast. Start your own fucking podcast. Al Del Greco, place kicker. Remember him? No one
Of course I do, yeah.
No one gives a fuck. Oh, Frank Gore went to our high school. There you go. Denzel Perry. A lot of football players. Daryl Sharpton.
The Peanuts theme song?
The Peanuts, not the Penis theme song.
Peanuts, like Snoopy.
Yeah.
Who's the most famous person that you actually remember associating with, like, growing up? Like, someone who was just someone from your life who was, like, a friend, but then they've gone on to be famous. Anybody?
A friend that was famous?
Yeah, someone you went to school with that was just like, you know them when they're a regular person, but they've gone on to maybe be famous.
That I was, like, close with?
I don't know. The closest you can come up with.
I don't know. No one that I was really close with. It was, like, super... I mean... Mike Lowell was in my high school, and he was on my Little League team. He's a World Series MVP.
For sure.
He was on my Little League team, but, like, if I saw him now, would he remember that he was on my Little League team? I remember he's on my Little League team. But
do you think that you're the most famous person that some people know? Like there's people you grew up
sad
with?
people, yeah. Like, I know for a shot. He was on Conan, like, in 2014, and he was also on Animal Planet. Maybe. Yeah, perhaps. Sometimes I think about that. You know, I did a show the other night at Comedy Magic Club, and one of the comics there was talking about another comic that he saw. I don't even like name drop who it was a famous comic, but he saw it and he goes, "Hey, we're still here. We're still doing it." And it kind of made me think. It sometimes when you hear shit like that, because you get so jaded about shit, and you're like tired of doing sets or this or that, whatever, and you're like, I didn't get this or that. And then sometimes you think about all the comedians that aren't doing it anymore, that you were doing it, and the fact that you're still doing this for a living. And don't get me wrong, I went right back to being jaded and upset about shit. But there was like a 5-minute window where I was like, yeah, I am still making a living to being a comedian. It's pretty cool. Where I did have a moment where I was like, this is pretty cool. And I do fly around the world, and sometimes you just have to keep that in perspective. So, yeah, maybe there's people. I just told this story recently. I have my special on Amazon Prime, Poor Decisions, and it's probably very apropos now because there was recently a hurricane that went by Florida. I think it's barely hit Florida, well, some parts of Florida, but it's not going to hit South Florida. And hurricanes always do that. If you don't live in Florida, like it's going to hit you, and then it barely just hits you or misses. And when I shot my special, Poor Decisions, I planned it for months, and I had one night to film it, and this hurricane was coming. I couldn't even remember what the fucking name of the hurricane was. And everybody was like, we can't come now because this hurricane's going to hit. And then it kept moving away. And then it didn't even barely fucking hit it. But still, everybody was like, we're not coming. Luckily, 39 people still came out to see my special, for the taping.
They risked their life.
No, it was just raining. But in the end, like, I was so stressed out that my performance, I don't think, was great. Now, the jokes are still there, and people still enjoy watching it and stuff. But, sorry, I still have allergies, so I can't breathe. Okay.
Are you winded from blowing on the conch shell still?
No. No, I have like allergies, so it's like hard for me to breathe when I have these fucking allergies.
Yeah, I get it.
But so I'm still very thankful that those people came out. But when you watch it, it almost seems sad, like no one's there sometimes. But also it was very stressful for me because I was producing everything. So when I perform doing comedy, my thing is it looks like I don't give a fuck, even if I do, and that's like part of my performance. And I was really stressed out, so I was kind of like the whole time.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I'm like, oh my God, this just isn't my best performance. Now people still watching, like, oh, I really enjoyed it, and I like the jokes, this and that. But cut to, I'm working on the Jim Jeffries show. I'm writing. I'm by the craft services table. There's just some guy there that I've never met before. That is, I guess, a VIP for the day because you don't get to go by the craft services table and eat food unless you're like some special pass. And it's before the taping, and he goes, Forrest, Shaw, how you doing? Like, he's excited to meet me, which I'm already like thrown by like anyone that would be excited to meet me because I'm like, who gives a shit? Why would you? And he goes, I just watched your special, Poor Decisions. And I go, yeah, it sucked. That's what I said to him. And he goes,
speaking of poor decisions.
And he goes, and his face dropped and he goes, oh, I enjoyed it. And I'm immediately in my head, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, this guy.
But I think he's trying to pay you a compliment.
What the fuck?
You're like, oh, you like me? What a loser.
Yeah, this is why I'm never getting ahead anywhere in my career. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot for liking it. Yeah. And it sucks, and I suck, and you suck for liking it. Now beat it. Get out of here. Get your crackers and beat it.
Yeah, you literally named your special Poor Decisions.
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways, I don't know how we got off on this topic, but yeah, there's probably some people.
But I think there's something,
and you're a loser if you think I'm the most famous.
I think there's something to be said for, and this is I'm gonna go back into Coach Dave's speech.
I can breathe again.
Take deep breaths, Forrest. Okay. But I mean, you learned something from those, right? So let's just say hypothetically, you got a Netflix special next month, right? You wouldn't want your Netflix special to be the first time you ever recorded a special ever. Like, now you know, like what like for me, what I
don't do it during a hurricane.
Yeah, don't do it during a hurricane. But like the biggest thing I learned from my second one was what you just said. I produced it and promoted it and was trying to run everything.
Specials?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations!
Well, I have 2 albums. One of them we videotaped, one of them we didn't. So, but I wasn't focused on the material because I was too busy worried about selling tickets and putting people in the seats. And like, now I know, like, I should have. It was a lot of it was old material that I was definitely like was ready to record and was ready to move on, but I wasn't polished with it. So I should have just gone on the road heavy for a month or 2 instead of rushing to get it out.
Yeah.
But you learn. Like, I don't think anyone else notices some of the stuff I notice and the critiques I have on it. But now, like, I know exactly what I want for my next one after doing 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my next one naked.
Dude, That would be I'm sure someone's done
Naked, but I'm only going to have the camera on my dick.
You should do it opposite of Bert and just only wear a shirt.
And I'm not going to manscape.
Nice. I did
only wear a shirt like Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, okay.
When I did my first one, it was at the Museum of Science in Miami, Florida. And we did 2 shows.
Where'd you record it there?
They have like a little theater, like a little amphitheater.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a really cool little black box. So we rented that. But it's just such an old building.
You having breathing issues too, or you have allergies?
It's just hot in here, man. And I'm 40.
Oh, is it? Why is it so hot in here, Luis? You trying to save money?
This was once a garage. It is not fit to live in, so.
Oh.
There's no
Is it always hot? There's
Let's
no
not give all the secrets away. This is a very expensive studio that we rent. Yes.
Yeah.
We're in Hollywood right now in a building.
Yeah.
The AC's off to make the audio better. That's it.
Oh yeah.
My bed's
So-
definitely not on the other side of your guys'
I think nobody knows that. If you've never done any recording in television, or is that everything's always fucking hot when you're recording, unless you're in a major studio.
Yeah, then it's freezing.
Then it's freezing. But if you're just like recording something like any sketch you've ever seen, it's fucking hot as shit.
Yeah.
Because you're shooting in somebody's house for free, and they're like, "Turn off the air conditioning," and then you're like, you're just melting. Yeah.
That Amazon. Speaking of Bezos, that Amazon commercial that I was in last.
Yeah, that's right. You're
last
part
holiday.
of Amazon.
Yeah, last holiday season. It was a commercial. It was a Christmas commercial, but we filmed it during the summer, and it was in the middle of a heat wave here in LA. And I had to wear like a really thick like sweater, like a turtleneck sweater, because it was supposed to be like, we were at a holiday party.
Yeah.
And I had to hold a cat and pet this cat, and I was just sweating. And you hear them turn all the ACs off when they're like getting ready to shoot. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
But that was a sweaty, stinky day.
Heat wave, cold snap.
So we recorded 2 shows for my first album, and we weren't shooting video. We were just shooting audio, or recording audio. And the power, like a breaker snapped or something. And I never recorded it before, and I wasn't headlining that much at the time, and I just nailed it. The first show, and that's where we sold the most tickets to. So the 8 o'clock show was packed. It was great. Everything was perfect. And I get off stage, and I'm like, did it. I'm like, now the second one's just bonus, right? Yeah. And my buddy who runs the record label, who does my albums, Dan Schlissel, he's standing there. He looks like he's seen a ghost. And I go, what happened? And he's like, about 10 minutes into your set, the power went out. And he's like, I only got the first 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And so now we got to get it on the second one. Well, the second one, the equipment started having a problem, and we got everything but the first 10 minutes in the second
Plus,
one.
it's in your head now.
Yeah.
Now you know.
But this is where like, if you don't believe in God, you better believe in something, because from the stuff we had from the issues, technical difficulties from the first show and technical difficulties from the second show, we only got about 30 seconds overlap. Yeah. So we were able to piece the whole hour together just on what we got from the 2. And same thing, like I look back at it now and it's like my jokes from the first 10 years. So some of it's like some of the first jokes I wrote, you know what I mean?
You think that's how God works, by the way?
A little bit.
Yeah. He's that precise.
But even from that first album, like it was on Pandora and it was on XM Radio. So yeah, I got some random ones. When I was moving from, we could tell some moving stories too, because you and I have some. But when I was moving from Miami to LA, we moved out here in an RV, and then I had to like go back to get my shit at some point. So I was calling around trying to get quotes on those pods, but the pods were so expensive. I was like, man, I can't afford this. So I call up, and it's just some random call center in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm asking for quotes, and the guy's giving me quotes, and then I'm like, man, it's out of my price range. Thanks anyways. And so I was getting ready to hang up, and the guy's like, hey, can I ask you something before you hang up? And I go, sure. And he's like, are you a comedian? And I go, yeah. He's like, I recognize your name and I recognize your voice. He's like, they play you on the XM local funnies all the time here. And I go, really? He's like, yeah, we have a comedy channel that's FM radio. And he's like, they play you a good bit. And he started reciting my jokes to me. And I'm like, oh man, this guy knows who I am, right? And he's like, all right, listen, I'm not supposed to tell you about this, but we do have this one thing that like doesn't make us a lot of money, so we don't push it. He's like, but we could drop off this tractor trailer at your house. You fill it up. You only pay for what you use, and then they fill the rest of it up with like paper towels or something that's got to go that way anyways. Yeah. And it was like the best thing ever. Like it saved me so much money, and I'm like, just because this guy, I didn't think I was famous. I still don't. But that guy knew who I was because of the first album I put out of my first jokes ever,
About the one where you're coming home drinking and people are jogging.
Yeah.
That joke's on
I
there.
do a lot of driving. And
That guy's on today.
drinking. Yeah, remember that one? That's
I'm
good.
on yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I forgot what the joke is.
When you're driving home drunk from the bar and there's people who are already awake jogging, I go, that guy, I'm on today.
Yeah, he's on tomorrow.
That guy's on tomorrow.
Boom. Buy Dave's album, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, more jokes like that.
I had the joke about the stickers on the back of people's cars.
Oh, yeah. You rearrange them.
Yeah.
Not nice. Yeah, moving stories. Fucking A.
Oh,
Second quarter.
the best one ever, though, is when you and Al were helping me move. And all three of us have had torn Achilles tendons at one point in our life. And me and Al were trying to move a dresser, and you were kind of standing to get out of the way. And Al said, hey, Forrest, you think you're going to help at some point? Or are you just going to stand there like you're the boss on Undercover Boss?
I don't want to move anymore. I'm done moving.
You remember that table I helped you move in Miami one time?
Twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
It was like the heaviest table. I don't know what it was made out of, like Superman's like
It was made out of glass and lucite.
Captain America's
was
shield,
clear. It was
Thor's
a
hammer.
It was a table my grandmother had, and we just moved it from place to place. I don't know why. And I don't even know. I think we eventually sold it.
Hey, Dave, could you help me move this extremely heavy glass table that also would break super easy if we dropped it at all? Sure, no problem.
It weighed a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't even know what ended up happening with that. But
Cool. Glad we took such good care of it. Glad we didn't let movers move that thing.
where did we move it to?
At one point, you moved into like your uncle's old house or something, and then you're moving out of there.
No. It was in my grandparents' old house. Then my grandmother died.
I don't remember.
And then I moved into my old house, and then I was taking care of my grandmother's house because it was my aunt's house then. She had inherited it. And then I was just taking care of it, but I don't remember where we moved that table at all. Anyways, good times.
Well, time will tell.
Thanks a lot, buddy. I think that might be in storage, actually. I'll tell you what, young kids out there, if you want to invest in money, buy a
hire
storage
movers.
facility.
Yeah.
Save about $5 million or $6 million and buy a storage facility. Just the money in the locks alone. Because you go to a storage facility and you're like, let's say you want to buy a 10 by 10 storage unit. That they can raise the rent at any time that they want. You sign a contract and they just send you a thing, hey, we're raising it $30 a month now. There's nothing you can do about it. Your shit's in there. What are you going to do?
And then you forget where you rented it. You lose your keys. Next thing you know, 15 years later, you're watching Storage Wars and your own shit's getting bought.
Yeah, you can't use a normal lock. They're like, you got a lock for this facility? And we're like, why? What kind of locks you use? A lock that only we sell for $35. Yeah, great. So then you're buying the lock. Oh, what?
That's how they get you. I dropped my kid off at a little camp this morning.
A camp?
Well, his school.
What do you mean? It's like school started, right?
Yeah, but he's going with his school. They do it every year. My older son didn't get to go because COVID. But I'm excited my younger son gets to go. But it's like a 3-day marine biology camp on Catalina Island. I could say that because he'll be back by the time this airs.
Why wouldn't you be able to say that? If
Someone might swoop in and steal him. Supposed to be careful of this
Why
stuff
would they
now.
steal your kid? Do you think you've got a lot of money?
I don't know. I told my wife I'd be careful about what I put out on Instagram and stuff, and learning from friends of mine's mistakes and things like that. And so,
one of your friends had a kid that was swooped.
There's been like creeps.
Swooped. A kid was swooped.
Is that like kidnapped?
You said swooped. That's what you said.
I said swooped.
They're gonna swoop in. Someone's gonna swoop in.
Nobody better swoop my kid.
Okay. He's back. He's already back. Since this come out.
Yep.
You don't even know which kid.
Found him. They go to Catalina and they do like ocean stuff. I don't know. Made me think of you.
Yeah, I went to a camp.
Is that how you fell in love with marine biology?
To fall in love.
It wasn't your passion.
I tell you, I met a sea urchin and I fucked it, and
that's how you become a merman.
Yeah, I became in love with it. I fucked the sea urchin.
That's a merman bastard. It's just a kid with spiky hair.
No, I mean, I don't know. I grew up in South Florida. I was always on the water, and I knew how to drive a boat before I could drive a car. Way before that.
Yeah, bro.
Took the Coast Guard auxiliary course, baby. But then I went to a camp, like a marine biology kind of camp thing, and but it wasn't on Catalina Island. It wasn't that fancy, you know. I don't know what kind of money you guys have over there. But,
Man, we used to go camping off like Boca
swooping
Chica.
And, no, the camp I went to probably was actually not cheap, to be fair. Yeah. But it was called Sea Camp in Big Pine Key, and I went down there. You know what's funny is I went to Sea Camp, and like you would go out on boats. I learned how to scuba dive there. I learned about fish. You'd go swimming with sharks. There was like a pit there that like it was
For
like
bad kids?
No, it was like it was a swimming hole, but they had sharks in it, and you would just go swimming with the sharks in there.
That's a real responsible. Hey, kids, race you to the shark pit.
There were nurse sharks, whatever. There might have been a lemon shark in there, but still. Anyways, and I remember thinking like, man, these counselors are very responsible and they're all very knowledgeable, whatever. Anyways, cut to later on, there's a couple of kids that I went to Sea Camp there with, and I'm friends with them now as they're older. They're all just doing drugs and fucking.
Yeah.
That's what you find out later on.
That marine biology life.
So I don't know what's going on Catalina Island this week, or last week with your kid, but he might be learning about sharks. But
cool.
Be careful of the counselors.
I went to this camp that was very suspect.
They're all suspect. That's what all the counselors are doing.
Yeah.
The kids are having a good time. The counselors are waiting to put the kids to bed so they can drink, do drugs, and
diddle each other.
Yeah, diddle is one word, yeah. Swooping on in with the penises.
They could explore the ropes course, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean.
I went to... Nothing.
Okay.
I went to camp out in the Everglades. I went to a hunting and survival camp.
That was a juvenile detention center.
It totally was.
Everglades.
It was me and two of my buddies.
In trouble?
Dude, it was the most scared I've ever been in my life, to be honest with you. My parents dropped me off like, oh, you're going to get your hunting license. You're going to learn such good skills. It's like you're into the outdoorsy stuff. You're going to love it. And what I didn't know is I was going to learn life skills of how to survive in prison, basically.
Yeah.
Because it was me and two
Band
other...
of the Hand. Remember that movie?
The what?
Band of the Hand?
No.
Pretty sure that was like a movie where they drop them out in the Everglades. Bad kids.
Oh.
They have to learn how to survive.
Well, I went with David Lean and Josh Trifoletti, and
you're just making up names on this podcast.
I swear to God, Josh Trifoletti, real person.
And David Lean, we're just gonna pretend that's a real name too.
David Lean's my buddy who lives here in LA now. He directs commercials. He's a
David Lean.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh Trifoletti.
Yeah, David Lean and Josh Trifoletti.
Just hold on a second, Louise. It's not just me that these names are weird, right?
Fucking ridiculous.
I'll call David Lean right now.
I'm sure you'll call him, yeah, but still, there's not been one normal name. There's not been one name you said on this podcast where I'm like, yeah, that's okay, whatever. There's not been one name where you're just like, you know, like Fred Smith or something. Yeah.
Ooh, I went to, Fred Smith was a linebacker at my high school. He's not on the notable alumni page or the Wikipedia, though, but he is an author.
If you said Fred Smith, I'd be like, not a real person, because it'd have to be a Josh Trifoletti.
Yeah. Fred Smith wrote a couple cool books. Hit me up if you want links. I would love to promote his stuff.
All right, so Josh Trifoletti and...
So we were in 6th grade, I want to say, and we show up, and they're like, oh, we're out of room in the 6th grade cabin. That's cool. We'll just put you in the 8th grade cabin.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, not good. So we were immediately, and like all the 8th graders were literally juvenile delinquents, like you said. Like
they've all got pubic hair.
Yeah, like their dad definitely lives in a double wide, like out on a hunting property somewhere. And
Did you guys have like private showers or no?
Nope.
You guys had to go in there with your like bald dicks.
So David Lean and Josh Lay were both like, they didn't like, we're not showering.
I don't know how, like, you know, I'm trying to remember back to when pubic hair came in, and I feel like there was a gap.
No, there was definitely, that's a bad age.
I feel like guys came waddling in there like you were like porn actors, but you weren't. You're just like,
And so that's like a time too where there's a big disparity, I think, between when you're like in 6th grade and 8th grade.
Yeah. Hey.
So, but here's my problem. Here's what got me in trouble. I was not like a tough guy at all. I was a very sheltered suburban kid, but I also watched a lot of TV. And I would watch like the More You Know, or on a special episode of Saved by the Bell, and where they tell you like what's right and what's wrong.
Different strokes.
You got to stand up to the bullies and don't let the bike shop owner diddle you. Yeah.
Oh no.
So I was always like, yeah, you got to stand up for what's right. So like anytime I have so many stories of times I tried to stand up to a bully for somebody else, and all it ended in was me getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna let these guys keep me from showering. It's just all about confidence. And I just walked in. With like
Showering is about confidence.
like not getting made fun of is about
No,
confidence.
I know that, but showering though.
But I walked in with my bald dick, and they definitely laughed at me and made fun of me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you guys shouldn't don't go in the showers. It's
Yeah. You should have been like, you'll see, when you turn 30, you'll be begging for someone to do that. You'll be paying for someone to wax this.
now you know what I think got me in trouble is that my defense mechanism was always my words, and I was probably pretty good at it, and so it almost backfires. Like being good at it gets you in more trouble because they're like start making fun of you, and you're like, well, what are you looking at my dick for? What does that say about you? And then everyone's like, ooh, and then you're like, no, don't go ooh, right? Now the guy's getting mad. He's like, oh, now you're stepping to me, right?
Yeah. You couldn't do that nowadays too, by the way. Back then you could do that.
What do you mean?
Well, now 2022, you couldn't be like, because that you're looking at my
shower
dick.
with kids, I can't do that.
No. You can be like, you look at my dick. What does that say about you?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
well, I mean, there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, I support whatever lifestyle you live.
You could look at it if you want. Yeah. Also, like, if, I understand if like.
I mean, I respect you more if you like.
Whatever you decide. I mean, look. Gender fluidity. This is what I look at it. So.
Yeah, that was rough. So we were playing capture the flag at that camp, and there's like, acres and acres of property there. And so it's really fun because you're
gators.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Dude. So I hear these kids yelling, like younger kids. And so I run away from the property towards the yelling to see what's going on. And there was these young kids who had fallen into the canal, and they were having a hard time getting out, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh man, I got to help these kids. So I'm pulling them up, and I end up sliding into the river while I'm helping them up.
Wait a second. What do you mean? What were you pulling up with?
I was like reaching down and grabbing them.
They were legit like dying?
Not dying, but they just were, they couldn't, they had gone down in the canal and they couldn't get back out.
Okay. So they're just like treading water.
Well, there's like a bank. There's like a bank. They just couldn't get up and there was a log going over. It was only like a foot up. So, and they were little. So I get the last one up, and then I don't know if it's real or not real, or if they were just freaking out, but the last one gets up, and then I just hear him yell, Copperhead! Ah! They all run away, basically saying that there was a snake in the water somewhere. And now I'm in the water and couldn't get out. So I had to
a copperhead snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I had to climb my way out of the canal, but I was on the opposite side of the canal that I had to be on. And I'm like, should I walk across that log and risk falling back in again? And I'm like, fuck this. And I like kind of walk a few feet the other direction, and the highway's there. So I just ended up walking along the highway back to the front of the camp and up the front. And everyone's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to leave the camp. I'm like, oh, I almost died, but I just saved some of your campers, so you're welcome. And I asked I told them that I lost my glasses, and I was like, I got to call my parents to tell them that I lost my glasses. And then when I got my parents on the phone, I was going to be like, come and pick me up. This is hell. I can't spend another night here. You got to come get me, right? And then the guy like...
They let you use the phone?
Only because I made up this lie about my glasses, yeah. But I had to use it in the office with the main counselor guy, and so he never left, so I didn't want to like say it in front of him. So I was just like, Mom, I need my glasses. I need you to bring them today.
What,
She's
did
like,
you have this worked out with your mom?
No, but I
so
was
she
trying
had
to
no
like
clue.
give her codes like that I was not happy about being there.
Did you ever go to camp, Luis?
I roughed it out though. I stayed the whole time.
I did summer day camp just like at my school. But
Day camp, yeah.
Yeah.
If you went to sleepaway camp ever, they don't let you use the phone. It's like you're almost like in prison.
Yeah.
It's like some weird shit.
No contact to the
Because
outside.
there's like a money thing going on where they don't want you to. I went to a bunch of camps, but there was like a church camp that I went to. You know, my buddy Charlie Burton. That's a pretty normal name.
Yeah, Charlie Burton.
You know Charlie. He went to it was like a church camp for like 3 days or 4 days, and he convinced me to go. I don't know why I went. I'm not religious at all. I think I went because he said it was going to be fun, and it was not fun.
Oh, it put you together.
Yeah, shout out Charlie for making me go to church fucking camp. It's not good.
Yeah, little youth group trips are pretty fun normally.
No, they try to brainwash you. So, but
With water slides and good times.
We got there.
Shaving cream fights.
Let me tell you. There was like a whole thing where they tried to make everybody cry and like want Jesus and shit.
Oh, I love that game.
Wasn't about that life. But we got there. All I tried to do was shoot basketballs, and I was trying to ask this girl out. I constantly tried to ask this one girl. I couldn't remember her name, but I kept writing her poems, which weren't actually poems. They were just basically lyrics to Led Zeppelin songs that I was writing down. Like, thank you. And since I've been loving you or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. But
every rose has its thorn.
My favorite part was like there was like this talent show and at the beginning, and man, there were some good acts up there. But there was like one cabin that went up there. They didn't understand the concept of it. They just walked up. They just walked up with the Bible, and they were like, "Who needs this?" And they threw it down and then walked off, and that was their whole act. And then everyone was like, "Yeah, I don't think was there anything else to this part?" But my favorite part was like the minister or priest. It wasn't like a priest. It was like
youth pastor.
Yeah, his son. God, what was their names? God damn it, I wish I remember his name. But his son was a really good football player. He played in the whatever not Corey League, whatever the fucking football league was. But he just went up there and he goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna sing a little song to get us all in the mood, whatever." And you know, "We Will Rock You," Queen.
Yep. Oh yeah.
They started playing that music, and all he did was go, "Jesus, Jesus rocks you, rocks you. Jesus, Jesus rocks you. Also you." And then, like, I mean,
love it.
Uncomfortable for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also you.
Got the devil on your face. What a big disgrace.
Nah, I wish you had those lyrics. No,
saving your soul all over the place. Jesus, Jesus rocks you.
And I tried to get right after that. I tried to get to a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get to a phone.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna use any code words. I was gonna be like, my mom was a hippie.
I'm followed in the canals with snakes. Forrest can't handle a folk song.
Yeah, I was gonna straight up be like, "Mom, they're trying to brainwash me into some Jesus shit here."
They're songs, Mom.
Yeah.
They're not even on beat.
Yeah. No, I was like, come on. She would have hopped right in and come up and got me, I think. But I think we're somewhere near Lakeland.
I need my glasses.
I was like, they don't yet let you use the phone at all. Yeah, I got kicked out of another camp though, because I had a slingshot.
You got kicked out?
I got kicked out of a Bear Pole Ranch. It's called.
What'd you do?
I brought a slingshot with me, and I was using it, and there was these girls that were like near this creek, and I was like,
girls.
I was shooting stuff into the creek, like little things with the slingshot from far away, to like, and they were like, "Oh shit, what is that?" And they thought something was in the creek, and when I hit the top of the creek, and it skimmed off the top of the creek,
took someone's eye out,
and hit this girl in the calf, and like fucked up her, like bruised her really bad. And then they found out it was me, and then I had to. I felt really bad. She was fine in the end, but they found out I had a slingshot.
Oh boy!
I think I'd done a bunch of other shit. I was a problem child, but and then they helped me in the infirmary for like 4 days. And my mom, because she was a single mom, never had any time to herself. She just raised me by herself. She had like 3 jobs that she worked. She had friends that they went to, a friend, George Vroutsis, there you go, there's a name for you. He's Greek, but he went to the culinary school at FIU, Culinary Restaurant Hospitality School, which was one of the top schools in the country for that. Went back to Greece where he's from and ran restaurants and hotels over there. So she had this one trip planned where she went to Greece, and she was done with me. She didn't have to take care of me. So she went to Greece for a month. And was like, I don't have to deal with my fucking son.
Yeah.
I'm in Greece. She was with the guy she was dating at the time, having a good time. And she gets this call. It's like, your son has been kicked out of this camp.
Oh,
you have to come pick him up. And she's like, I'm absolutely not leaving this trip. So she called my grandmother. And my grandmother, only grandchild, by the way.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably 11 or 12.
Oh, yeah, you can't stay home alone.
Yeah. And my grandmother, I was the only grandchild of their 3 kids, so I was the golden child. Mm-hmm. They used to give me ice cream to take a bath because I would refuse to take a bath until I got my ice cream.
Spoiled.
Yeah, I was very spoiled by my grandparents. So I could do no wrong. Even though I was getting kicked out of a camp, my grandmother came to pick me up at the camp, and instead of punishing me, we spent 4 days
eating ice cream.
I went hot air balloon riding, horseback riding.
Man, Camp Grandma sounds awesome.
I was rewarded heavily. Yeah. Taken out of camp. My mom was furious with my grandma.
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, what do you want to do? We gotta do some activities." Because I was not punished at all. Like I was.
That's what grandmas do, man.
I was rewarded, if anything, for hitting this woman or this girl in the calf. with a slingshot. So that's how you get out of camp. Every kids out there, if you're listening, can't make a phone call, bring a slingshot, hit a girl in the calf. You'll get out immediately. But they don't let you make any phone calls at these camps.
So at the
like being in prison.
Yeah, at the juvenile delinquent Everglades camp, we had a talent show one night too. It was my favorite part of the whole camp, actually, not surprisingly. And I didn't even get to really do anything in it, but they like it's cabin versus cabin, so it was like me with all the 8th graders, and they do sketches to be funny. And I will say that these guys who were tough guys, you know, the whole time we were
This
there.
is where you shined? This is the part of the movie where they found your value?
Not even. They wouldn't let me do shit.
Okay.
But I saw a different side of them because they wanted to win. And so they were like, you could tell they were just stealing the sketches that won the year before or whatever when they were there. Mm. But they were so excited to do these like funny sketches. And it is a moment where I saw like, oh, these guys are insecure and vulnerable just like all of us. Like they're just looking for approval and trying to be funny, you know? And I don't know. I think it was a moment that I saw something about people was at that talent show.
Yeah, but they still didn't let you.
They still beat the shit out of me.
I thought it was going to be like, and then they saw that I was funny.
Real life doesn't work out that way.
And then they carried me off on the shoulders.
No.
Third quarter.
When I was in 6th grade, I went to Mays Middle School down in Gould's. There was a Church's Chicken across the street. The only Church's Chicken.
You went to that school?
Yeah.
In Gould's?
Yeah, because remember?
That's like a rough neighborhood.
Oh, dude. It's like where Kimbo Slice used to fight in people's backyards.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know who Kimbo Slice. Have you ever seen that?
He also went to my high school.
You ever seen that documentary? That's a Rockin' Tour, the Billy Corbin and
what was it called? Like a dog fight or
DAWG fight. Yeah. That was down is it Gould's and maybe Perrine. What's the other? It was at Richmond Heights or there was another name for the area.
Cutler Ridge.
Yeah, still it doesn't, but it's all down there. That's where that took place. That whole thing. If you've never seen that documentary, it's why am I afraid? Alfred Spellman. Yeah, it was Alfred Spellman.
Rocketeer.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty raw ass documentary, dogfight, and it was Kimbo Slice and the other guy that was there. I think he passed away too.
But Kimbo Slice, like,
and it shows them. It's just backyard brawls.
Yeah,
and they would fence off this one house that this guy lived in, but he was a promoter, but he'd also fight. And they just have these dudes that would just bare knuckle fight in this backyard in Miami. And
he would sell like VHS tapes of backyard fights.
And here's the crazy thing. The cops would know about it. It's highly illegal, but the cops would know about it. They wouldn't do anything about it because for these 2 or 3 days they were doing this, no crime.
Yeah.
We're at the very high crime neighborhoods. No crime was going on because everybody was there. It was like a UFC event basically for this whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
And man, it's pretty brutal, but it's pretty interesting too. But it's like it's sad too because it's like everything hinges on it. Basically, it's a pretty interesting documentary. Dogfight, DAWG. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, they don't have like medics on hand. These guys beat the shit out of each other.
No shit. They barely have a ring.
Yeah.
It's like the dustiest, dirtiest thing. There's people hanging around.
You're lucky if you got a sports bottle of water with a pincher bug in it.
Yeah. You wish you did the pincher bug, but yeah.
So back then, elementary schools went to 5th grade, and then high schools started at 10th grade. So you had these like, and then middle schools were 7th to 9th grade. So then you'd have to find a school to go to 6th grade for. Like a lot of people just go to like FC Martin or just some random school for 6th grade.
Yeah.
And then you'd end up back. So just for 1 year, I went to the magnet program down at Mays Middle School.
Dada 5000, by the way.
Huh?
Dada 5000.
Oh, yeah.
That was the guy whose house it was. He was also a fighter. Sorry. I keep going.
So, so all these like totally sheltered suburban kids that I went to elementary school with, they came and gave us a presentation at our elementary school about, we have a magnet program, which means you could pick this path and take these classes. We're like, oh, that place sounds awesome. So we all decided to go to that school together. So they'd bust us down there. And, it was a really rough school, man. Like,
dude, Gould's is like,
yeah. And
no joke. We used to do we used to go down there and do water quality sampling in the whole area down there too. And you're like,
bet the results weren't great.
You don't hang out there, dude. Yeah.
Well, I'm walking down the hallway one day. I'd gotten into a fight with my close friend Chandler Weber, And it's
It's a pretty normal name.
Yeah, I think I brought him up before.
I'm
Actually,
going to give you Chandler Weber. It's pretty normal.
I think it just seems normal to you because I brought it up a previous episode and you already laughed at it.
Yeah.
Chandler had the mouse that impregnated my mouse. That's that guy.
Oh, yeah, Chandler. Yeah.
So we'd gotten into a fight, and then I'm walking down the hallway one day, and Chandler's up ahead of me. I see him, and this dude's coming out of the bathroom, and they bump into each other, right? And then the guy's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, right? Like trying to
Don't
start.
ever touch me.
Yeah, Chandler was just like
By accident.
Yeah.
Again.
Chandler was just being oblivious, like whatever. So I walk up and I go, "Hey man, why are you yelling at him?" I'm like, "You're the one who came out of the bathroom, not looking where he's going." And he's like, "Oh, you think you're tough?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm just trying to do what's right, whatever." And he's like, "I got you now, right?" And now this guy hates me. And
This is just you and your continuing effort to
to be a
right?
good guy, but get the shit beat out of myself. So like a day or two later, Chandler and I were cool again, and we're going to leave our science class, and I see that kid out there with like 5 of his buddies, otherwise known as a gang.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know, I'm like, oh shit, they're waiting for us. So I pull Chandler back in the classroom. I go, "Hey dude, those guys are waiting to beat the shit out of us." And he's like, "For what?" I go, "For you. I stuck up for you," right? So we snuck out the back door, and we're like kind of making our way through the hallway, through the crowd of people. And then at one point you can see they're like, "Hey, there they are." And they start chasing us, and we start running, and we get to our next classroom, and I'm like, "Ha ha, you didn't get us, suckers," right? And I go to open the door, and the door's locked, and I look, and there's a note on the top, and it says, "Meet in the library today." And I'm like, "Oh shit," right? So now the bell rings, the hall's clear, and now it's just us stuck in the corner of the campus with these dudes surrounding us. And they're all like, "Oh, you're not so tough now, huh?" And I'm like, "Guys, we could talk about this, right? You ever been to camp in the Everglades before?" And we're just like, I'm trying to talk my way out of it. Chandler's like, doesn't even know what's happening.
That's when you take your dick out. Show him no hair.
Anything would have been better than what I did do, which was just try to like schmooze them, because they're talking in Spanish, like, and I'm like trying to pick on what they're saying. And I look this way. And when I look back, this dude just sucker punches me right in the temple, right? And then they start to run, and I heard the footsteps, and my first instinct was like, I have to fight back, right? So I go to like chase them a little bit, but I was woozy, and I ran face first into a wall and jacked my face up. So I kind of beat myself up, to be fair.
Wait, you chased after them to get punched more?
I just...
What was your goal there?
I don't know. I just
punched and
reacted.
ran away, yeah.
I just reacted. I was just like, I got to fight back now, And I was going at the guy, but I don't know.
So there's fight or flight. You chose which one? Flight and fight?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I guess that's one way to look at it.
Okay.
So then I come home, and my face was starting to swell. And my mom's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it." She's like, "Tell me what happened."
Yeah.
And so I told her. And then the next morning, she comes down to have a closed door meeting with the principal. Yeah. And they decide that I should walk into the cafeteria where everyone would hang out before school started and walk up to the table and point them out like a snitch.
Good
right?
idea. That's a good
and I'm
idea.
like, this is making things way worse.
That's
right?
a great idea, Mom.
Yeah. So then we take the kid into the principal's office.
Point him out in the cafeteria.
Yeah. In front of
This is him right here.
Yeah. Everyone's like, now everyone's like, we're going to beat this kid's ass, right?
Oh, my God.
So then we get in the office, though, and the principal says to the kid, he goes, "I could get you in trouble for what you did." He's like, "I could send you to juvie or whatever," right? He's like, "But instead," he's like, "I'm going to let it slide. But if anybody ever touches this boy ever again, I'm going to make it seem like it's your fault every single time. Like until you get in so much trouble, you never come back."
What, right? Shawshanked him?
Yeah, so he like basically made the guy my protector.
Are you doing his taxes?
Yeah. So the guy was like, "You can't do that," and he looks over at the cop, and the cop's like, "Oh, it's happening," right? Like they were all so scared of my mom at that point. So that guy was like my protector. We were like cool, man.
Yeah.
The rest of the year, he'd come check in with me 2 or 3 times a day.
That's definitely white privilege.
He'd throw his arm around me. He'd be like, "Williamson, you good? Anyone mess with you?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool, Jose. It's all
You
good."
forced him to be your friend.
Yeah. Once you really get to know someone, you can find out that you actually have more in common than you think.
I don't think that he liked you.
Well,
are you friends with him? What's his name?
I have no clue. Okay. I just remember he had a very aggressive mullet. It was very impressive.
So you're not friends with him?
No, I don't remember his name.
Reach out, dude, if you're watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Guy.
If you remember this story.
Guy. Did you have a bully, Louise?
I think I might.
Shut up.
Okay.
You're the bully?
Yeah, sorry. I mean,
I can't
wasn't
imagine you
like,
being a bully. You're so weak. Like right now. Like I
how
bully
did
you
this
all the
turn around
time.
to me getting bullied?
Because I bully you all the time.
If I didn't have one before, I have them now. Right this very instant. No, I wasn't bad, but like I mean, I kind of was popular at least in middle school. So
you got in a lot of
because that-
fights?
No, I actually didn't get in my first fight until like 5 years ago.
Really?
I was
As
like
an
a
adult?
I was like a verbal.
Wait, you got into
bully.
a fist fight 4 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, tell us that
I've
story.
only been in 2 in my life, but
Who did you get in a fist fight with?
it was a random drunk dude in Mexico where
Oh, that doesn't count in Mexico.
Yeah.
oh yeah, different rules.
Yeah. I just figured that's like.
Was it
they
in
say
was it
hello.
in someone's backyard in Perrine?
No, I was in the town square and it was my first night there. I was drinking all night, 4 a.m. and I was like, all right, time to go. Me,
4
brother,
a.m. Yeah, okay.
me,
Checks
a
out.
brother, and like 3 uncles. And a guy walks right up to me and in Spanish, and he had a bloody nose already.
Oh, he's been.
He just
I
thought
don't
you'd
think you got
already
into a fight with this guy. I think you finished the fight. This guy's been in all night
Remember,
long.
we were fighting earlier. Right.
Yeah, and he had a bloody nose and came up to my group, but like specifically to me, and in Spanish says, "Who wants to fight?" And then just punches me across the face and sprints away. And I was so drunk that I
You
was
were
like,
challenged to a duel.
takes his glove off and whoosh. But I was so drunk that I was confused. I was like, did I just get punched in the face? And then everyone's like chasing him, like my friends, my group. But the thing is, it was during fiestas and there's like bands playing on the street too, There's an innocent little drummer boy. I mean, a man, like in his 40s, but playing the one snare drum, And then the guy runs up to him and punches him in the face.
Don't
too.
keep saying like any of this makes sense to us white people. You just said fiestas. I'm like, sounds fun. Okay, it's parties. All right. But what do you mean drum? Why is there just a guy playing drum? A drum.
It's like it's like Carnival. It's Mexico's Mardi Gras.
But there's just a drummer
There's like 12 bands all playing
at the same time.
Yeah, it's like
The rest
you
of
could
this
be there.
guy's band missed their flight.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you could pay a band to play for you for an hour. And
Okay.
play whatever you want. But at the same time, the group behind you can also hire a band. And so they're playing 2 separate songs
So it's
at the same
cacophony.
time. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the poor guy.
Yeah, I would want to fight people too if I listened to that much music at one time.
Actually, yeah, I might have been the one in the wrong.
I feel like I've accidentally or on purpose talked my way out of so many fights. Probably almost into fights, and I didn't even know I was it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's
I've
so
talked
many
my way out of
times sure
fights.
people just want to beat my ass at a crowded bar somewhere because I'm being a smart ass, but I'm oblivious to it. And I'm just like, all right, big gulps. See you later, guys. Right?
Big gulps.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's just a random line from Dumb and Dumber when he walks up. There's like these dudes hanging
I
out.
don't
in
remember
front.
that.
huh?
I don't remember
Yeah.
that.
All right.
That one scene just like sums me up so much. My
I
friends
don't
like,
remember that. I've seen the movie.
there's just like a
many
bunch of
times.
like dudes hanging out in front of a 7-Eleven, in like a tough neighborhood or whatever. And like Jim Carrey walks out and he just goes, "Hey guys, big gulps, huh?" And he just stands there for a second. And he goes, "All right, see you later." And he walks away.
I don't remember that.
Like they have no interest in talking to him.
I don't remember that.
How much time we at? How much time we at?
We're at 52 minutes.
We're in overtime,
Ooh,
dude.
man, we're crushing today. Cruise
I'll
by.
I'll let every lads talk. I didn't even get to talk what I wanted to talk about.
What do you want to talk about? We got time.
Nah, I forgot.
Okay.
My
Must
head
have been
hurts.
really important.
That hurts.
Burp, burp, burp.
What?
Just making sure that we didn't start something and we didn't finish it.
I feel like that's all we do on this podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we should have named it.
Just trying to.
And another thing.
So the story about me getting sucker punched by that dude in 6th grade and my mom signing me up.
I thought it was over.
No, it is. It is.
Protected you the rest
Basically,
of the time.
yeah. My mom signed me up for a gang. I actually tell that story on my second album, which is called "Trying My Hardest." My album's called "Trying My Hardest," and yours is "Poor Decisions."
That was my special, but they made it into an album. My first album's called Mr. Grizzly.
Yeah. What's my first one?
My third, and I have an EP called the Bella EP.
My first one is "Thicker Than Water."
I have a couple I didn't release called the Unreleased Files. You can't find those anywhere.
Forrest Shaw B-Sides is my favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna make that one. I didn't do that one yet. And also, I've got Rarities and Oddities. And
So
I've got the hidden lost tracks.
Fourth quarter.
You referenced one of my early jokes. The earliest joke I remember of yours that you did on the first open mic I ever met you at was when you talk about jerking off in the shower with shampoo and conditioner, and you would have to do it to a beat, and you would be like, and it was "Devil Came Down to Georgia" was the song you used, and it was like chicken in the bread pan picking out dough.
Okay, I'll tell you this one story, and then we'll leave. So I did a joke. Again, when you start doing comedy, you just try and do jokes, and if a joke works, then you're like, thank God. I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how that original joke went, but I was jerking off in a shower.
Yeah.
So I would be on stage jerking off, doing the motion jerking off, but I'd have my back to the crowd.
Yeah.
Jerking off like this. And
Chicken in the bread pan,
and it was, you know
dough.
that song, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia"? Everybody, "Devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal." And then it was like, "Down him run now."
He's way behind. He's willing to make a deal.
You know that song, right, Luis? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's for... Anyways, it's with the fiddle. Anyways, and I would. There was 3 stages to me jerking off to this song, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," and I would do it at open mics and bars and would always get a laugh, whatever. Anyways, the manager at the time, Brett. Do you remember Brett?
No.
I believe. God damn, was it MacGyver? I think was his last name.
Brett MacGyver?
I think his last name was MacGyver. Yeah.
I remember that guy.
He was the manager at the Improv, and he was friends with Brian Joseph, you know?
Yep.
And he knew him for a while, and he, like, because Brian always be like, "Hey, my friend Forrest getting the guy." And he threw me my first bone where he was like, "Hey, you want to do a guest spot on, like, a weekend show?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I do." And so Al Jackson was hosting, our good buddy.
Yeah.
Carl Remy was the feature.
Yep.
If you know, Carl Remy, still doing comedy. He has a movie out, "I Possessed." That
Yeah.
He
Carl's a killer.
wrote it. I think he directed it too, but financed it. He acted in it.
And it's good.
Yeah, did the whole thing. It's called "I Possessed." I don't even know exactly where you can find, but follow Carl Remy, Rimi, online. Very proud. Did this whole movie by himself, and I know that they've released it in certain places in Florida, but it's amazing that he did all this. He does a lot of acting now, but he still does stand up, and he's a killer stand up. He's one of the first guys that ever took me on the road, and I know he's still doing stand up because he just opened for Mark Norman, and they mentioned him on his podcast about how funny he was and blah 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 in his movie. Anyways, Carl Remy was featuring. He's like a killer, and Gary Owens was the headliner though. And if you don't know who Gary Owens is, he was the only white host of BET's Comic View. Yeah. So BET's Comic View, Black Entertainment Television, he was a white host, but usually it was all black hosts because it's Black Entertainment Television. But Gary Owens' crowd was primarily urban, is what they would call it. Urban was the key word that they would use. But in Miami, it would be most people would be black, but there would be a lot of Hispanic people in that crowd. But it was very urban was the word that they used. Yeah. Now, I was a very new comic. I was not very good yet. And that was like my killer joke was jerking off to "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." And I show up to this gig to do a guest spot, which is a 5-minute spot. And I'm like, I'm doing fucking guest spot on a weekend show. Friday or Saturday. Get ready to fucking... I show up and Al Jackson's hosting. He goes, "What are you going to do? What's your second?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to do "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." He goes, "Hey, you sure you want to do that?" I go, "Yeah, man, my fucking joke's killing, man." What are you talking? He goes, "I don't know, this crowd, maybe." He goes, "Hey, you know what? Just do it, Dad." He doesn't want to, I think he knows it's not going to go well, but I'm like, it's going to fucking kill. What are you talking about? Yeah. I walk out and I start doing "The Devil Went Down to Georgia" joke to this urban crowd. I might as well have just come out like in a KKK outfit because it's like I'm doing like fiddling and it's like country music.
Yeah, you're fiddling yourself.
Yeah. And so, I actually did a joke about doing this thing because I used to say, I said the only thing worse than doing bombing is doing a joke about masturbate or no being. The only thing being worse than being booed is being booed while you're masturbating. While you're
pretending to diddle and fiddle.
Because I started getting booed, and I had my back to the audience, and it was like boo, boo. People in the front feel like boo. Then someone stands up, "You suck!" And I'm like, and I'm like, and then there's this group of 4 girls in the front, and they feel bad for me. So they stand up, and now they're trying to defend me. Like, come on, he's trying his hardest. Yeah, they were like, he's trying to give him a break. He's trying. You suck, bro. Boo. I'm like, oh. And then I turn around. I'm like, I had like one more joke. I'm like, so yeah,
I'm just gonna leave.
I found a porno of my mom's. That was like a joke. And I was like, I'm gonna finish this. I'm just like dying, bro. Like, and the old Miami Improv was you'd walk in and out of it looked like an old brownstone, the stage. Like it looked like you're in a brownstone. There was like a door on the stage to the green room. So it looked like you were like at 227. That also like, hey, I'm gonna walk in my house. And I remember walking in the door and Al's walking out and he just looked at me like this, like, hey, like,
how'd it go?
Like, because you could hear the whole set. Yeah. He was like, yeah, all right, get it. And then I remember like Carl went out there and just fucking killed. And then I just was like on the couch and they're like in the fetal position. And then Carl comes in and kills. And then Ronnie Khalil came back. He was in the audience. Yeah. And he was just like, man, great set. Carl, killer set. He goes, Forrest, whatever. Yeah. Dude, it was so
You'll get there, buddy.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to leave while Gary Owen's on stage. I got to get. I was like, I wanted to quit comedy. Like, I was like literally going to quit comedy. And I tried to sneak out of there. And me and Al are like, well, he's going to walk me out. And I tried to walk out of my improv. And this guy stops Al, this big dude, and he was the guy standing up yelling at me. Yeah. And he stops Al like, bro, you're fucking hilarious. To Al, he goes, you're fucking hilarious, bro. But and I'm just trying to sneak by, and he goes, yo, man, you're pretty good too. I go, yo, you were just
you made my life hell.
He goes, man, I was just kidding, man. I'm like, bro, no, you were like going to throw something at me. Like I said, and it was fucking terrible. And about a year later, I got better at comedy, and Gary Owen was back there, and I asked, Brett was still the manager, I said, yo, can I do a guest spot on Gary Owen's show? And I went there and I did a guest spot, and it was like something in my head psychologically to get through. And I was much better at comedy then, and I knew how to do. And I went there, and it wasn't like I killed, but I had an okay set, and I was like, okay, I got this thing. But I almost quit comedy that night. It was fucking terrible. Yeah.
It's important to have those redemption, like the redemption when those things, like.
The only thing worse than being booed is being booed while you're masturbating. Yeah. That was what I used to say, yeah. Because I was like, boo, you suck. You suck. That's what the guy was saying. You fucking suck. It was like 350 people in this room. He's no, look, let him do this.
Well, I think maybe if you had stuck it out, if you had stuck it out at God Camp, maybe you wouldn't have been led to a life of pretending to masturbate while singing to The Devil Came Down to Georgia.
The thing is, I never did that. That was just for the joke. It was exaggerated. I would never. Come on, hip hop. That's what I masturbate to.
The first time I ever did a theater, I ate it on New Year's Eve.
We're way in overtime now.
In front of Robert Schimmel.
We're way in overtime.
And I got to open for him a year later, and I got to redeem myself and
become friends. Now you can die, Robert Schimmel.
Yeah, I give you permission. But we can tell that story another time. R.I.P. 2-minute warning.
2 minutes left.
Oh,
I'll do it first try. Ready?
Yeah.
Think I can do it?
No, I'm excited.
Wait. No.
You got it. No. I believe in you, Forrest. You have to believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, that's when it worked. That would sound like a dying animal. That sounded like you hit an animal with your slingshot. I met my best friend, Josh Harder, at youth group camp because he was really good at origami on the church van trip there. And I was like, this kid could take a piece of paper and turn it into anything he wants.
Show's over, buddy.
It's really interesting to me. So stick it out. If you're at camp, guys, you never know. You just might learn life lessons like Forrest and I did, or meet your best friend. I have a show October 9th in Nashville, one-nighter in Zanies. Please come out. Thank you to people that came out to see me in San Diego a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to be in Bakersfield, California coming up, doing a collab with Salty's Barbecue at the Comedy Club there. And I also have Florida dates in Tampa and a couple other things that I'm putting together in December. A couple months away.
I got nothing going on.
At Dave W. Comedy on Instagram, and buy our albums. I have two, Thicker Than Water and Trying My Hardest. Forrest has Mr. Grizzly and Poor Decisions.
Nothing going on. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. I hate Amazon. Don't buy from Amazon, but go on Amazon Prime. Watch
Shout out Jeff Bezos. I think I just misunderstood.
Now I got Mr. Grizzly, Poor Decisions, the Bella EP. Those are all, you can go listen to those, buy them, stream them, whatever you want to do. I got some dates coming up. Just go to forrestshaw.net. They're all in there. I'm going to be in like Ventura Harbor. I'm going to be with Jim some places. I'm going to be in Toronto, Pittsburgh, Columbus. I'm going to be in Asia. I'm going to be in Vegas in January at the Comedy Cellar. It's all on my website. I think I'm going to be in Orlando in October somewhere.
Nice. I'm trying to put an Orlando date in for December too.
It's all on my website, forrestshaw.net. I don't know where I'm going to be, but you ain't going anywhere.
Send us your camp and your bully stories. We'll see you next time.
There's some fan art somebody sent me, but I'll show it next time.
Oh yeah, is it like my fan art back here?
No, it's terrible that art.
We got a lot of comments on the flamingo
Double
fan.
overtime. We're in double overtime.
Flamingo fan art last time. So message me if you want info on it. It's a very cool artist in Alabama made it for me. Georgia, Alabama, somewhere over there.
Georgia Rigetti.
Shout out Josh Trivoletti. See you later.
For they are the mermen.